What is good, guys? Matt from Duality Gaming here, giving you another video, and this is another Duality Gaming news. This is number 3. We're going to be bringing some E3 news at some point. I'm not sure when. I haven't really planned that. Probably starting tomorrow or something. We'll get to that when we get to that. Anyway, to episode 3. Titanfall 2 has been confirmed, even though I'm reading off a leak, and it shows a single player. And apparently it shows, it's a leak anyway, and it shows Kung Fu like mechs. Basically, the thing that I wanted was that Titanfall 2 does have a campaign, so at least then I don't feel like I'm getting gypped to 40 quid. But if we leave the EU, it'd be 50. Anyway, Titanfall 2 has been revealed along with gameplay. The upcoming shooter has the campaign is crafted to dive deeper into the Titanfall universe, exploring the unique bonds between the pilots and the Titan, and taking full advantage of the movement and combat to deliver a feeling of being unstoppable together. Now, the trailer ends with confirming that it will be released on the 28th of October, which actually kind of throws me off a little bit. But unlike the first game, Titanfall 2 will be released on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC. There'll be no last generation. Thank God for that. At least now all the budgeting can go somewhere a bit, a bit more useful. Anyway, what do I think of this? Obviously, there's a few things I thought about this, really. Campaign is good. I never played the first Titanfall because I didn't want to pay for Xbox Live to play it on the 360, and it would have been just a shitty, watered-down version. My PC can't run it. I'm happy about that. Well, because I didn't want to spend 100 quid or whatever, and I don't own an Xbox One, and that goes back into paying for Live. So obviously I had no experience there in that case. The whole diving into the universe, I would like to know how they tackle that with the PS4 people, because obviously the people that just own a PS4 and nothing else would not have had the chance to play Titanfall. To be completely honest with you, from what I saw, it didn't look like there was even a universe to really be there. It just kind of looked like mindless shooting for a lot of it. But recently suggest also that new pilot abilities, a grappling hook, and bigger maps. So if it's bigger maps, and I think that would mean there's a higher player count, that could be a very big possibility. Maybe they'll get rid of the bots for more people. Maybe they didn't expect, I don't know, enough people to be on it. The release date is the thing that really threw me off. Now, I can't remember when Battlefield 1 is actually meant to be released, but I believe it's within the last week of October, like around October, November. So I do feel this is kind of a brave thing for EA to do, in a way of putting two big first-person shooters near each other. That I feel that's a bit detrimental to both sales of the games, but maybe it's to give the people that that want the modern day basically exosuit kind of thing, or in this case Titans and the running ability and all that. Maybe they want people for the people that want that, they give that to them, and the people that just want a good solid shooter, Battlefield 1, and maybe they want people to buy both. Anyway, tell me what you think about the whole Titanfall 2. I'm looking forward to it. I will probably pick it up. I did enjoy watching the first game a lot, and I'm looking forward to this. It's just release date. We'll probably see more properly with E3. With the whole gameplay thing. I think EA will probably have a lot of presence, even if they're not actually there. I don't think. Well, they don't have a conference. They have a lot of games there. Anyway, moving on to something that I know my co-producer would find quite funny, and a game that has received a lot of negative feedback in the past couple of weeks. And you may recognize the name. If you don't, by the end of the sentence you will. Inafune is already talking about plans for Mighty No. 9 sequel. Now, when I saw that, the first thing I thought of, how about you get your first game out first, mate? Seriously, just stop delaying it. You can't be thinking about a sequel if you haven't even got your first fucking game out. It hasn't even launched yet. It's still got 10 more days to go. And even though the community has been disappointed with the repeated delays and the trailer, kind of insulting everyone, the art style and the people that would have done that, it just insulted it, and it was an ignorant statement, and it was stupid. And you know what? They should lose sales for that stupidness, right? I knew what they were trying to do, but you don't just go insult people on a trailer, especially when people funded your game, right? With people like Call of Duty, with Activision, even EA, they can insult people and they know people are going to buy it. You don't do this on a Kickstarter game. That's stupid. That is stupid. What? No, that's stupid. Sorry. Anyway, going on from that. Basically, it was meant to be released originally in the spring, but it kept getting pushed back and pushed back. It's meant to be a spiritual successor to Mega Man, but then it kept getting... it just kept getting delayed and things like that due to various other reasons. Now it's going to be released on pretty much everything where you can like think of. My main opinion of this, right, because it kind of talks about Inafune talking about what's the word, a sequel, and basically like development for a sequel is already in our minds. We share feelings of what we'll do with it and don't sell it. Doesn't sell. Basically, you can read the article. Obviously, everything is always supplied down in the description below. But basically, he's got ideas for a sequel, and they're thinking of a sequel already. And the first thing I have to say to that, and the only thing is, there's one thing they can obviously learn, which is don't insult your fans. Anyway, moving on from that to the biggest news of today, which actually came out, I think, on Friday, and I know I'm a bit late with it. To be completely honest with you, I went out that day, so obviously I didn't, and then when I came back the next day I was too hungover to do shit, so I'm sorry that it's coming out today. Don't like sue me for having a social life. Basically all the rumours, all of them, of the PlayStation Neo have been confirmed by Sony, but it will not be at E3, which to be fair doesn't surprise me. It'll probably be at Gamescom. They probably got a lot of things going on in terms of E3. I've seen a lot of articles, and we'll just have to wait, even though for the UK people, Sony's E3 conference happens at 2 in the morning, and I don't intend to watch all of that. But if they've got enough like high-end things right now, they don't want to bring in a PS4 Neo because it'll kind of shoot everything in the foot. Anyway, a high-end PS4 is true. During an interview with the Financial Times president and global chief executive of Sony Interactive Entertainment, Andrew House, revealed that a high-end PS4 would be more expensive than the current PS4 version, which is obviously not, I can't remember the word. Anyway, moving on. And then he goes on to say, it is intent to sit alongside and complement the standard PS4 version. We will be selling both versions through the life cycle. The new console, codenamed Neo, as we know, targeted towards hardcore gamers, House revealed as well as players with 4K television. So basically 4K has been confirmed. I will say this, and I will say this till I'm blue in the face. Considering the PS4 now, okay, with the whole, it really struggling with 1080p 60 frames per second for a lot of things, I fail to believe that it will do native 4K, right? If it can barely do 1080p on a lot of games, why the hell would it manage to do 4K with a slight, like, performance upgrade? I expect a lot more 1080p 60 games, don't get me wrong, and a lot less frame drops and a lot less, well, there's not really much screen tearing to begin with, but to be completely honest with you, the whole 4K thing is an upscaling thing. It's like saying the PS3 could do 1080p. It didn't really do 1080p, it upscaled it. That's how I feel about that. Anyway, going on from that, PS4 Neo obviously is a high-end PS4. All the PS4 games will be supported. Just reading on from that, all the games will support the standard PS4, and we anticipate all or a very large majority of games will support the high-end PS4. Now that gets me a bit worried for certain things, and I'll go into that in a minute. House also revealed that both PlayStation Neo and PS4 would support Sony's upcoming PlayStation VR headset. Now the problem with that is if you actually, I think a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, there was something about the PlayStation VR not really working well with the PlayStation 4. Basically with that, I think the Neo did come out for that. Anyway, going on from that, another concern regarding the Neo was that it's causing problems for developers. After all, developing for both current gen PC and sometimes even last gen can be quite a handful. Despite this, House offered some reassuring words. Developers should expect a small but manageable amount of extra work. Now, to be completely honest with you, that was a bit of a dickish thing to say at the end. Finally, House assured that the new console and the upcoming PlayStation VR would both be a standalone profitable at the same time. Standalone profitable at the same time we launch it. In the past, Sony has released products at a loss with the hopes that it would turn a profit in the long run. Basically, they're talking about the PlayStation 3. Okay, now let me give my thoughts and opinions on this. If you have a PS4, do not buy this. Okay, you have no reason to buy this, right? It's going to play your games. The whole developers should, a bit of extra work, that's unfair that's basically forcing people to do extra work to appeal to a market that may not even be as big. You got to remember, the Neo has no sales. The PlayStation 4, the original one, has 40 million people, right? If the PlayStation 4 Neo only sells 10 million and the PS4 stays at 40, right, just hypothetically, developers aren't going to give a shit about the Neo. They're going to go for the biggest market. That is what you do. You go for the biggest like pool of like consumers because you want the most amount of money. Now, obviously, going on from that, if my PlayStation 4 died for whatever reason and the Neo was at a reasonable price, maybe I'd get it. But I feel this is the console that the PS4 should have been, honestly. Going, as I said, the Neo is really, I don't know why. I think it is for the PlayStation VR. It's really hard to put my like thoughts into words because there's so many things to talk about. Like obviously the 4K thing, I will say that's upscaled. If you don't have a PS4 and if it's a reasonable price, obviously I would say get the Neo because you get the best experience. But I think we have to really see how everything works together in certain ways and just see how it turns out. To be completely honest with you, I feel depending on this, it's probably going to be about $100 to about $150 more expensive than the original PS4. Obviously with this whole like going on about this whole like jumping like half generation jumps in consoles, I think this is almost becoming a thing because I think the Scorpio is almost going to be shown at E3. Like, it's been a lot of rumors about that, but in my opinion, I'm not going to get the Neo. I wouldn't recommend PS4 owners now to get the Neo unless you really wanted to play fucking like Uncharted in 1080p or whatever, because to be fair, if you got a 4K, like if you've only got a 1080p TV, don't bother getting a Neo, obviously. If you've got a 4K TV and you don't have a PS4 and you're looking for a PS4, get a Neo. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think down below. There's so many things about this that I just think, obviously, it's great to know that the PlayStation 4 Neo has been confirmed. It's always good to know that after all these rumors. So yeah, tell me what you think about Titanfall 2. Hey, Titanfall 2 may even like look better on the PS4 Neo. It may even be 4K. I don't really care. Inafune, stop being a dick. Like, you piss people off, mate, and then you do this. Just stop. And obviously the PS4 Neo being confirmed by Sony, but it will not be at E3. Anyway, guys, as I always say, tell me what you think down below. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it. Subscribe to the channel. It really does help me and Reese out. Check out the Facebook and check out the Instagram for daily updates. And ultimately, guys, as I always say, have a nice day.